live on the horizontal. And now, oh, I hear a little piggy noise. Now we go live on vertical. The vertical chat. Chat has questions? Hold on a sec. Your tiny little horses. All right. Okay, cool. Hello to YouTube. Hi, Mark. Let me switch over to the multi-chat. You heard there was nonsense here? No. The real nonsense is the fact that you think that there would be nonsense here. Illegally small horses. I say that to the pigs all the time. Hold your tiny little horses. Hi everyone. We are back. We are back. We are now live on both Twitch and on YouTube in 2 different formats, because we're moving up in life. It's great. So, if anyone on Twitch has the desire to help and the capacity to open one of the YouTube streams in, you know, another window, it can be on your like 2nd or 3rd or 4th monitor or like a different device, whatever, that helps with watch hours, which is huge. Thank you so much to anyone who's able to do that. Yeah, seriously helpful. All right. And we are going to be jumping back into reading the Odyssey. Oh, but I want to say, now if you're over on the Discord, you will have maybe seen this. But something that I did is that I put the past VODs of us reading the Odyssey into a playlist. You show 2 different live streams on YouTube. Yes, one is in horizontal. It should look just like the Twitch stream. The other is in vertical. If you prefer to watch it that way on your phone, the main reason is that the vertical streams get pushed out to a lot more viewers. Like a lot more. Like what was from last stream, we looked at the stats and it was like, and I'm a really small channel so it doesn't get pushed out very much at all. But we did this format for the first time on last stream and the horizontal stream got 29 views and the vertical stream got 218. No, you were way too high on one and way too low on the other, Fitch. But yes, a little off. It's okay. So yeah, well, let me pin these messages. Thank you, Fitch, for posting those in there. So yeah, but yes, there is now, for anyone who maybe is like catching, you know, not the whole stream. Oh, did I miss a question from Shay? Did I miss something? Oh shit, Shay, you didn't, I totally missed giving you an affirmation because I saw the time. I'm sorry. I will do that. I will do that. Yes, there's a playlist now, and I've gone through and I have time-stamped it, so there are chapter markers, so if you don't want to listen to like all the intro and the recap and such, you can just skip around to where you know, need to catch up on. And I am working on doing the same for our live reading of the Merry Adventures of Robin Hood. No, I totally missed doing your name trace as well. I saw the time and I panicked and I was like, holy shit, we're late. And then I just totally skipped over a couple things. I'm so sorry. Yes, so I'm doing that for Robin Hood as well. Now, eventually, both of these stories, the plan is to have it edited and reposted in another playlist that has like all the chit-chat trimmed out, and it's basically just an audiobook. But For now, at least. Yeah, my ADHD went into total panic monkey mode there. Sorry, guys. Sorry, guys. Luna, are you going to be around later? Or should I do your name trace now? That is totally my bad. Absolutely my bad. I'm so sorry. She's so Canadian. Stop. I mean, yes. Yes, I am. Your hair looks great today. Thank you. What the heck? Thank you. Okay, let's do that. We are doing the Odyssey. However, I was a total Aesop's Fables, and I skipped a couple of redeems that I was supposed to finish before going live on YouTube. So, apologies to the YouTube audience if you're watching this only from YouTube. I'm gonna do an ASMR name trace. Let's do it. Warm reverb. You got it. You got it. Let's do it. I'm sorry. Okay. I'm so sorry that I skipped over that. Yes, oh yeah. This is what we do stuff like that over on Twitch and on my other YouTube channel, if you're interested. The time the advice cards told you to shut up and leave. That was great. Okay. Yeah, thank you to those who are watching over on YouTube. I really do appreciate it. Okay. We're going to do an affirmation card for Shay. And then we're going to jump into the reading. Thank you, Fidge. True, but then you just look like you're twitching or something because you react to your own thoughts. Wait, what, CG? Ooh. Okay, Shay, I'm pretty sure this is addressing, you know, like if there's a chance that you have any fears or doubts about tapping more into your creative sense of play. Well, I'm here to tell you to release those with this affirmation. I release all fears and doubts. I accept myself and create peace in my mind and heart. I now choose to free myself from all destructive fears and doubts. I am loved and I am safe. You're doing awesome, Shay. You're doing awesome. Oh, CG is uber cool. Okay, I might forget that. Yeah, people who have different names over on YouTube, it's very possible, even if you tell me like, oh, I'm so-and-so on Twitch, I might forget at some point, and I do apologize if I do, but uber cool. Thank you for hanging out over on the YouTubes. Yeah, we don't have a, do you know who I am? I've never seen this slutty lemon in my life. I do have a multi-chat in OBS so that I can see it all in one place, but I'm not allowed. I'm not permitted to put one up on screen. Just trying to get your interactions up over there. You know what? I really appreciate it. I really do. Maria over on YouTube as well. Yay. You're awake, you swear? How dare you fall asleep in this stream that I try to make cozy so that people can fall asleep. Okay. Let me see. She has lots of ginteractions on her VOD calendar. Why are you making me sound like a lush? What is this? I gotta go. You have to go get more milk. I spilled it? I spilled the milk. Oh shit. Well, I'm very sorry. That's what a lush would say. Oh my god. Let's pretend to be well behaved, okay? Got your. It's not wine. It is flavored water. It's flavored water. Great. Okay. I see what's happening here. You're all in brat mode. Alright. Looks like wine to you. If it was wine, I would be a lot sloppier on stream. Wait, have you guys all just been saying that I'm like, oh, I like your reading because you feel sorry for me because you think I'm just like hammered and slurring? It would be so sad to realize. Okay, we're reading the Odyssey. We're Faolkaholics, so we're in the same boat. Heck yeah. Now, if you're following along, which you can do, by the way, in the pinned comment from any of the chats, has a link to Project Gutenberg. We are reading the Samuel Butler translation of the Odyssey, except for we're using Greek names instead of Roman names, but the rest of it will all be the same. Stream is one big intervention. God damn it. Oh. There's a reason that, like, on the rare occasion that I do drink on stream, I usually just I unpublish the VOD afterwards. He was a butt. I agree. I mean, I didn't know him personally. We're the reason Fel drinks one. Look what you've driven me to. Look what you've driven me to. Okay. Now, we are about to start book 12. Look at us making progress. We are, okay. In the present day of the story, obviously this is, ancient Greece, but like, present day of the story, Odysseus is trying to get home. He's been away for years. Like, a couple decades, like, a while. He went off to war in Troy, and then he took a while trying to get back, and then he got, basically, like, lost all his men, and was held hostage by Calypso on an island. Well, she pretended that he was her husband, and then Athena you know, years after the fact was like, you know what, it's really sad that he never got home. I was really championing him during the whole Trojan War, and then I just kind of like left him there, like, we should get him home. And she asked Zeus for his help, and Zeus was like, okay, you can let Calypso know I've like put out an order that Odysseus needs to, you know, try to get home. And so Calypso finally is like, fine, I'll let him go. And he builds a raft, but Poseidon hates his guts, and so he ends up washing up on shore, stark naked, on an island, and then is, you know, feted by the king that lives there, and they're going to give him a lift home to Ithaca. But they're like, by the way, who are you? He tells them, and now he's just been telling them stories. So the stories are like from before he even stayed with Calypso. This is him and his men making their way, trying to get home. And we've already had several of them die. Some of them were eaten by a cyclops who Odysseus then gouged out his eye, and the cyclops is Poseidon's son, and that's why Poseidon hates Odysseus. And then they washed up. They landed on the island where Circe lives, and they stayed there for a year. And then they were like, well, we want to go. And Circe was like, well, you got to go down to the underworld and consult like an oracle down there. So they did that, and while they were down there, Odysseus talked to a lot of dead people. So we heard the stories about those conversations. And I think that's where we left off. He is supposed to leave in the morning to, they're supposed to leave on the ship in the morning to try to get Odysseus back to Ithaca. But his hosts were like, oh my god, no, please stay up all night telling us these stories. These stories are so good. Don't worry, you don't need to help on the ship tomorrow. You can just like go to sleep on the ship, like tell us more stories. So that's what's going on. We haven't heard about Telemachus in a bit. Telemachus left his home to try to seek any knowledge of his father, to either confirm or deny that his father is dead. And the last that we heard of him, he had visited Menelaus and then set off. But it's been several chapters. Hey there, nuh-uh. Over on YouTube. Hello. How's it going? Okay. Does that sound good? Everyone's caught up to speed. Everyone's up to speed. Okay. So, yes. Book 12. Hi, CS. What's up? It's going well. Love your hair. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Okay. Book 12. The Sirens. Scylla? Is it Scylla? I need to go to bed for a Wednesday thing. How dare you? I haven't had a Wednesday thing in a long time. That's a really, like, old reference as well. Oh, yes. I am looking up pronunciation sometimes.
Scylla.
Scylla. Scylla. Thank fuck it's Friday. It's not Friday for me yet. But I'm very happy for you. Last 12-hour night shift. Oh my god. I hope you get to really relax this weekend. That was a season 1 reference. Okay. The Sirens, Scylla and Charybdis. The Cattle of the Sun. Charybdis. Isn't that the name of that giant vortex whirlpool in the ocean that sucks people under? Isn't that the one that he gets? Not Charybdis nuts. Isn't that the one that was in 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea? With that bullshit ending that he pulled out of his ass at the end? Charybdis. Okay. Okay. Good. Okay. The sirens, Scylla and Charybdis, the cattle of the sun. Fidge, you're gonna have to go elsewhere for your vor needs. Or maybe you don't. Let's see what happens with Charybdis. So this is Odysseus talking again, okay? So I'm gonna use my man voice. I don't know why I feel so unhinged. I did take my ADHD meds today, but I feel kind of like I didn't, so I don't, sorry. Mancor. Ew, no, what? I get what you're doing. It was like the Manthena thing, but Mancor has the word mank in it. Which is like British for gross. Manky Mancor. Okay. Hi, Diomedes. How are you? Is Canada open for immigration? You'll stay here and fight. How are you doing, Diomedes? It's very good to see you. You're not familiar with that word? Manky? Yeah, it just means gross. Dirty. It's hard to keep up with Fitch causing chaos. I know, he's just like dropping little bombs in all the chats. Diomedes, thank you so much for the 500 bits. Thank you so much. Oh, I really appreciate that. I really hope you're doing well. Glaswegians have great words for unclean. I bet they do. My only experience with Glasgow was staying overnight in a bus shelter, and it was very manky. I feel comfortable saying it was extremely manky and cold. I don't even know those other ones. Nice. Okay, you guys, we read here. We read here. We are bookish. We like literature. Let's do it. After we were clear of the river Oceanus and had got out into the open sea, we went on till we reached the Iaean island, where there is dawn and sunrise, as in other places. We then drew our ship onto the sands and got out of her onto the shore, where we went to sleep and waited till day should break. Then, when the child of morning, rosy-fingered dawn, appeared, I sent some men to Circe's house to fetch the body of Elpenor. Rip in peace, Elpenor, who broke his neck falling off the roof from drunkenness. We cut firewood from a wood where the headland jutted out into the sea, and after we had wept over him and lamented him, we performed his funeral rites. When his body and armor had been burned to ashes, we raised a cairn, set a stone over it, and at the top of the cairn we fixed the oar that he had been used to row with. Hi, Tasney, very welcome. While we were doing all this, Circe, who knew that we had got back from the house of Hades, dressed herself and came to us as fast as she could, and our maidservants came with her, bringing us bread, meat, and wine. Then she stood in the midst of us and said, "You have done a bold thing in going down alive to the house of Hades. and you will have died twice, to other people's once. Now then, stay here for the rest of the day. Feast your fill, and go on with your voyage at daybreak tomorrow morning. In the meantime, I will tell Odysseus about your course, and will explain everything to him, so as to prevent your suffering from misfortune, either by land or sea. Hi, Xenodroid. Oh, thank you. We agreed to do as she had said, and feasted throughout the livelong day to the going down of the sun. But when the sun had set and it came on dark, the men laid themselves down to sleep by the stern cables of the ship. Then Circe took me by the hand and bade me be seated away from the others, while she reclined by my side and asked me all about our adventure. So far, so good, said she when I had ended my story. And now, pay attention to what I am about to tell you. Heaven itself, indeed, will recall it to your recollection. First, you will come to the sirens, who enchant all who come near them. If anyone unwarily draws in too close and hears the singing of the sirens, his wife and children will never welcome him home again, for they sit in a green field and warble him to death with the sweetness of their song. There is a great heap of dead men's bones lying all around, with the flesh still rotting off them. Therefore, pass the sirens by, and stop your men's ears with wax, that none of them may hear. But if you like, you can listen yourself, for you may get the men to bind you as you stand upright on a cross piece halfway up the mast, and they must lash the rope's ends to the mast itself, that you may have the pleasure of listening. If you beg and pray the men to unloose you, then they must bind you faster. When your crew have taken you past these sirens, I cannot give you coherent directions as to which of two courses you are to take. I will lay the two alternatives before you, and you must consider them for yourself. On the one hand, there are some overhanging rocks against which the deep blue waves of Amphitrite beat with terrific fury. The blessed gods call these rocks the Wanderers. Here, not even a bird may pass. No, not even the timid doves that bring ambrosia to Father Zeus. But the sheer rock always carries off one of them, and Father Zeus has to send another to make up their number. No ship that ever yet came to these rocks has got away again, but the waves and whirlpools of fire are freighted with wreckage and the bodies of dead men. The only vessel that ever sailed and got through was the famous Argo on her way home from the house of Aeetes. Aeetes? 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 Let's check. Let's double check. I want to know. Aeetes. From the house of Aeetes, and she too would have gone against those great rocks, only that Hera piloted her past them for the love she bore to Jason. Wait, do you remember like months ago when we were doing the Greek mythology, the Mythology Monday? Didn't we kind of... Wasn't Jason just like a pompous ass? And like, didn't all his buds abandon him at some point? They were like sick of his shit. And all the heroes that he brought, he wanted to get the golden fleece, right? And the girl guarding the golden fleece fell in love with him and came with them. And then he was such a fucking asshole that, like, all the heroes that he had convinced to come on his mission just, like, abandoned him. And then this girl left her home and family and disobeyed her father to marry him. And then he just, like, gets her pregnant and leaves her on an island. Wasn't he, like, an absolute cad? Not that Jason. Not Machete Jason. Okay. Of these two rocks, the one reaches heaven, and its peak is lost in a dark cloud. This never leaves it, so that the top is never clear, not even in summer and early autumn. No man, though he had 20 hands and 20 feet, could get a foothold on it and climb it, for it runs sheer up, as smooth as though it had been polished. In the middle of it, there is a large cavern, looking west and turned towards Erebus. You must take your ship this way. But the cave is so high up that not even the stoutest archer could send an arrow into it. Instead, inside it, Scylla sits and yelps with a voice you might take to be that of a young hound. But in truth, she is a dreadful monster, and no one, not even a god, could face her without being terror-struck. She has 12 misshapen feet and 6 necks of the most prodigious length. And at the end of each neck, she has a frightful head with 3 rows of teeth in each, all set very close together, so that they would crunch anyone to death in a moment. And she sits deep within her shady cell, thrusting out her heads and peering all round the rock, fishing for dolphins or dogfish or any larger monster that she can catch, of the thousands with which Amphitrite teems. No ship ever yet got past her without losing some men, for she shoots out all her heads at once and carries off a man in each mouth. Des, what the fuck does that even mean? What does that even mean? What does that even mean? Okay. You will find the other rock lie lower, but they are so close together that there is not more than a bow shot between them. A large fig tree in full leaf grows upon it, and under it lies the sucking whirlpool of Charybdis. 3 times in the day does she vomit forth her waters, and 3 times she sucks them down again. See that you be not there when she is sucking. For if you are, Poseidon himself could not save you. Like he would want to. He hates Odysseus. You must hug the Scylla side and drive ship by as fast as you can, for you had better lose 6 men than your whole crew. It's Circe's jealousy that created these monsters in the first place. Wait, I don't know that story. Not the big suck. Is there no way, said I, of escaping Charybdis? and at the same time keeping Scylla off when she's trying to harm my men. You daredevil, replied the goddess. You are always wanting to fight somebody or something. You will not let yourself be beaten, even by the immortals. For Scylla is not mortal. Moreover, she is savage, extreme, rude, cruel, and invincible. There is no help for it. Your best chance will be to get by her as fast as ever you can, for if you dawdle about her rock while you are putting on your armor, she may catch you with a second cast of her 6 heads, and snap up another half-dozen of your men. So, drive your ship past her at full speed, and roar out lustily to Critias, who is Scylla's dam. Bad luck to her. She will then stop her from making a second raid upon you. Not the tattling to her mom. Oh my goodness. You will now come to the Threnation island, and here you will see many herds of cattle and flocks of sheep belonging to the sun god. 7 herds of cattle and 7 flocks of sheep, with 50 head in each flock. They do not breed, nor do they become fewer in number, and they are tended by the goddesses Phaethusa and Lampeti, who are children of the sun god Hyperion by Neaira. Neaira. Naira? Alright. Their mother, when she had borne them and had done suckling them, sent them to the Threnation island, which was a long way off, to live there and look after their father's flocks and herds. If you leave these flocks unharmed and think of nothing but getting home, you may yet, after much hardship, reach Ithaca. But if you harm them, then I forewarn you of the destruction both of your ship and of your comrades. And even though you may yourself escape, you will return late, in bad plight, after losing all your men. Here she ended, and dawn, enthroned in gold, began to show in heaven, whereon she returned inland. I then went on board and told my men to loose the ship from her moorings, so they at once got into her, took their places, and began to smite the grey sea with their oars. Presently, the great and cunning goddess, Circe, befriended us with a fair wind that blew dead aft, and stayed steadily with us, keeping our sails well filled. So we did whatever wanted doing to the ship's gear, and let her go as wind and helmsman headed her. Then, being much troubled in mind, I said to my men, "My friends, it is not right that 1 or 2 of us alone should know the prophecies that Circe has made me. I will therefore tell you about them, so that whether we live or die, we may do so with our eyes open." First, she said that we were to keep clear of the sirens, who sit and sing most beautifully in a field of flowers. But she said I might hear them myself so long as no one else did. Therefore, take me and bind me to the crosspiece halfway up the mast. Bind me as I stand upright, with a bond so fast that I cannot possibly break away, and lash the rope's ends to the mast itself. If I beg and pray you to set me free, then bind me more tightly still. Oh my god, Daddy's back with the milk and cookies. Strawberry milk. Just spoiling us over here. Odysseus is always dawdling and eating sheeps. That is what he do. Oh, sorry. That comment had nothing to do with Odysseus. That was just in response to chat. Would you guys want to hear it if you had the chance to hear the siren song and you knew that you'd be tied up tightly enough so you wouldn't throw yourself overboard? Like, I wonder if it's a thing that, like, even afterwards, like, it would just haunt your mind, you know? You could never hear it again. Jumpy. Those were separate things. Total separate things. This is why I say the full username. Wrong mythology. Close enough. Close enough, Cena Druid. I had this wonderful interaction years ago. I met this old Irish man who taught me, you know how people play the spoons? You know, you can like unknee the spoons. He taught me to play the ice cream scoops. But then we were talking, and he told me he came from the west coast of Ireland, and then he was like, do you want to hear a Selkie song? And I was like, yes. And then he sang the most like inhuman melody I've ever heard. It did not sound like it was coming from a human voice. And he said that when he was a little boy that they would hear the Selkies singing, and it was like it gave me goosebumps. His eyes were staring in different directions as well. He was like this little whiskery little man. Maybe he was a leprechaun or something. I don't know. Wait, which episode is that, Jane? You met a Selkie? I mean, I may have, I don't know, maybe. You met a ghost in Galway? Nice. I loved Galway.
How we doing, ladies?
Oh, Cloud's a little spicy.
How you doing?
I'll have to take a short break between chapters to feed her a bit. Okay. Sorry. I had hardly finished telling everything to the men before we reached the island of the two sirens, for the wind had been very favorable. Then, all of a sudden, it fell dead calm. There was not a breath of wind nor a ripple upon the water, so the men furled the sails and stowed them. Then, taking to their oars, they whitened the water with the foam they raised in rowing. Meanwhile, I took a large wheel of wax and cut it up small with my sword. You didn't have like a pocket knife? A dagger? You made ear plugs with a sword? That just seems like overkill. Then I kneaded the wax in my strong hands till it became soft, which it soon did between the kneading and the rays of the sun god, son of Hyperion. Then I stopped the ears of all my men, and they bound me, hands and feet, to the mast as I stood upright on the crosspiece. But they went on rowing themselves. When we had got within earshot of the land, and the ship was going at a good rate, the sirens saw that we were getting inshore, and began with their singing. they sang. Renowned Odysseus, honor to the Achaean name, and listen to our two voices. No one ever sailed past us without staying to hear the enchanting sweetness of our song. And he who listens will go on his way, not only charmed, but wiser. For we know all the ills that the gods laid upon the Argives and Trojans before Troy, and can tell you everything that is going to happen over the whole world. They sang these words most musically, and as I longed to hear them further, I made signs by frowning to my men that they should set me free. But they quickened their stroke, and Eurylochus and Perimedes bound me with still stronger bonds, till we had got out of hearing of the sirens' voices. Then my men took the wax from their ears and unbound me. Hi, veteran. Welcome. Immediately after we got past the island, I saw a great wave from which spray was rising, and I heard a loud, roaring sound. The men were so frightened that they loosed hold of their oars, for the whole sea resounded with the rushing of the waters. But the ship stayed where it was, for the men had left off rowing. I went round, therefore, and exhorted them, man by man, not to lose heart. My friends, said I, this is not the first time that we have been in danger, and we are in nothing like so bad a case as when the Cyclops shut us up in his cave. Nevertheless, my courage and wise counsel saved us that, bro, Odysseus, you're the reason they were in that mess in the first place, and you couldn't leave. Okay, you know what? All right, let him have his captain moment. Yeah, a bunch of his men got eaten. Yeah, it would, don't you... Okay. My courage and wise counsel saved us then, and we shall live to look back on all this as well. Now, therefore, let us all do as I say. Trust in Zeus and row on with might and main. And as for you, it's coxswain, right? Coxswain? Is that how you pronounce it? I know the one that looks like boatswain is pronounced bosun, so the one that looks like coxswain is pronounced coxswain. Is that correct? As for you, coxswain, these are your orders. Attend to them, for the ship is in your hands. Turn her head away from these steaming rapids and hug the rock, or she will give you the slip and be over yonder before you know where you are, and you will be the death of us. Don't say oh, Dusty. So they did as I told them, but I said nothing about the awful monster Scylla, for I knew the men would not go on rowing if I did, but would huddle together in the hold. In one thing only did I disobey Circe's strict instructions. I put on my armor. Then, seizing 2 strong spears, I took my stand on the ship's bows, for it was there that I expected first to see the monster of the rock, who was to do my men so much harm. But I could not make her out anywhere, though I strained my eyes with looking the gloomy rock all over and over. Then we entered the straits in great fear of mind, for on the one hand was Scylla, and on the other, dread Charybdis kept sucking up the salt water. As she vomited it up, it was like the water in a cauldron when it is boiling over upon a great fire, and the spray reached the top of the rocks on either side. When she began to suck again, we could see the water all inside whirling around and round, and it made a deafening sound as it broke against the rocks. We could see the bottom of the whirlpool all black with sand and mud, and the men were at their wits' ends for fear. Well, we were taken up with this, and were expecting each moment to be our last. Scylla pounced down suddenly upon us and snatched up my 6 best men. I was looking at once after both ship and men, and in a moment I saw their hands and feet ever so high above me, struggling in the air as Scylla was carrying them off, and I heard them call out my name in one last, despairing cry. As a fisherman, seated, spear in hand upon some jutting rock, throws bait into the water to deceive the poor little fishes, and spears them with the ox's horn with which his spear is shod, throwing them gasping onto the land as he catches them one by one. Even so did Scylla land these panting creatures on her rock and munch them up at the mouth of her den, while they screamed and stretched out their hands to me in their mortal agony. This was the most sickening sight that I saw throughout all my voyages. When we had passed the wandering rocks with Scylla and terrible Charybdis, we reached the noble island of the sun god, where were the goodly cattle and sheep belonging to the sun, Hyperion. While still at sea in my ship, I could bear the cattle lowing as they came home to the yards, and the sheep bleating. Then I remembered what the blind Theban prophet Tiresias had told me, and how carefully Aeaean Circe had warned me to shun the island of the blessed sun god. So, being much troubled, I said to the men, "My men, I know you are hard-pressed, but listen while I tell you the prophecy that Tiresias made me, and how carefully Aeaean Circe warned me to shun the island of the blessed sun god, for it was here, she said, that our worst danger would lie. Head the ship, therefore, away from the island." The men were in despair at this, and Eurylochus at once gave me an insolent answer. "Odysseus," said he, "you are cruel. You are very strong yourself, and never get worn out. You seem to be made of iron, and now, though your men are exhausted with toil and want of sleep, you will not let them land and cook themselves a good dinner upon this island, but bid them put out to sea and go faring fruitlessly on through the watches of the flying night. It is by night that the winds blow hardest and do so much damage. How can we escape should one of those sudden squalls spring up from southwest or west, which so often wreck a vessel when our lords the gods are unpropitious? Now, therefore, let us obey the behests of night, and prepare our supper here, hard by the ship. Tomorrow morning we will go on board again, and put out to sea." Hi, Black Dragon. Hi, Raiders. Welcome in. Thank you so much for the raid. Welcome, welcome. You guys, make sure you're following Black Dragon Tavern Gaming over on Twitch. Hello. Hello. How was your stream? Black Dragon, over in the Black Dragon Tavern, you will find Castle and Una, who do wonderful reading and storytelling streams. It is such an awesome vibe over there. I hope you had a good stream. Welcome in. We are continuing our read of the Odyssey. They have left Circe's Island. They have gotten past the monster Scylla and Charybdis, and now they're being faced with the temptation of the Sun God's Island. Hi, Maddie. Storytime was grand. Quickly approaching our annual readathon. Ooh, what is that? Like an event? Charybdis? Wait, no, because I listened to a pronunciation thing. Are you sure? Did I mishear it? I literally looked it up. Oh no. Let me listen to it louder. Might be right. You're right. Okay, Charybdis. Welp. Thank you for letting me know. I will change it moving forward. Hi, Old King Bear. Hello, and Waxtooth. Hello. Oh my god, no, Maddie, I am always telling people, like, if you know how to pronounce something and I'm mispronouncing it, please let me know. I am not overly proud about that. I am happy to learn. Right, Kaiser, right? Yeah. No, I did double check, but I think I had the volume down and I had plugs in, but the volume was coming out of my speaker and I think I just misheard the beginning. So, yeah, thank you for letting me know. It's not gremlins, it's dremlins. Well, welcome in, you guys. Is this Castle raiding in tonight? I can never keep your schedule straight. But thank you again so much. Well, I can't see the beard. The readathon's the only... Oh, it's a subathon, nice. Fundraising events, but you do have the opportunity to give out books and things to the community. That's very cool. Alright, so you guys are going to want to be following Black Dragon for sure. Yeah, well, get cozy. Oh, and Xenodroid followed over on YouTube. Thank you so much. That's awesome to have you over there. Yes, we are live on... Oh, sorry, I mean, Xenodroid followed on Twitch. We are live on Twitch and YouTube. The chat is a little faster over on Twitch, but I am very much appreciating anyone who's able to watch on the YouTube, which really helps with my watch hours. Oh my god, we're being raided again. Bowman! Hello, Bowman! Welcome in, raiders. Oh, let me try to not shout at you, because I'm sure you're coming from a very tingly, very comfy ASMR session. Welcome in, raiders. Bowman, thank you so much for the raid. Holy moly. If any of you are not following Bowman Dean, you really want to be. He is absolutely incredible at ASMR. So tingly. He is so creative, like always using interesting different materials and lots of like anticipatory and experimental triggers. If you want to get tingles, you gotta head over there for sure. Hi, Simple Jack. Hello. Bowman, how was your stream? Welcome in. If any of you are new here, I am Faolkor, the Book Dragon. We do a mixture of traditional ASMR, often soft-spoken and on the chatty side of things, but also, you know, extended triggers and such. We also tend to spend the middle part of the stream reading, and that's what you've come into right now. We are reading the Odyssey, but when we finish the reading portion, we will open up triggers again. But Yeah. The stream is wonderful. You made adjustments to your streamer bot and your image quality is crisp. Wait. Making adjustments to streamer bot made your image quality better? Or were those two separate things? That's awesome. How's the pig? She's still kind of sick. Yeah, I'm still having to take quite a bit of care of her. Yes. JR Kong, thank you for the follow. So good to have you here. Okay, and Bowman, of course, as always, please feel free to head out whenever you need to. Make sure that you're taking care of yourself after your own stream. I really, really appreciate this amazing raid. If any of you are wanting to follow along on the page with me, there is a link pinned in chat where you can open up the exact copy that I'm reading, except, so we are reading the translation by Samuel Butler, except for he used the Roman names and we've changed them back to the Greek names, but otherwise it's the same translation. Hi, Flora. Wait, Fatal is really... That's crazy. Oh my god. Alright, so yes, and we are in chapter 12 right now. You started reading along, Xenotroid? That's awesome. Love it, love it. You're gonna go eat food, Floral? Sounds good. Sounds good. And yeah, if anyone over on the Twitch is interested, we are also streaming live on the first of those YouTube links. The second one is my ASMR trigger channel. The first one is the reading channel. DJ, thank you so much for the 100 biddies. Oh, okay, I got you. That's awesome, Bowman. Yeah, no, I think I understand what you're saying. That's awesome. Okay. Butler did translate it with the Roman gods being better. Yeah, I think it was more in vogue in England at the time. Okay. All right. So we are going to be jumping back into the reading. What's happening right now is Odysseus is trying to get home. Okay, well that's the premise of the whole book, basically. But he is currently trying to get home, and he has washed up on an island. He is being offered a ride home, but they're leaving at first light. They're leaving in the morning. They're spending the night just drinking, and he's telling his story. So this is like things that happened previously, at this point years ago for him, because he hasn't even gone to stay with Calypso yet. So, but they have just navigated past the Sirens. They've navigated past Scylla and Charybdis, and now they are coming up on this island where there's just like a whole bunch of cows and sheep, and boy did they look delicious. But they are owned by Hyperion, the sun god. So he tells his men, look, I've been warned by Circe and Tiresian that we should not go onto that island. We need to steer away. And fucking Eurylochus is getting kind of upset at this, and he's like, man, we're exhausted. We just want to pull up on shore and have a good meal. Yeah, so that's where we are at. Yeah. Are we excited for the movie? Yep. That's kind of the reason for... We've been talking about reading this for like I don't know, years now. That's what bumped it up the read list. Okay. Helios is the sun god, Hyperion. Okay, well, this is saying Hyperion the sun god. No. You could be correct, but, yeah. Okay. Thus spoke Eurylochus, and the men approved his words. I saw that heaven meant us a mischief, and said, "You force me to yield, for you are many against one, but at any rate, each one of you must take a solemn oath, that if he meet with a herd of cattle or a large flock of sheep, he will not be so mad as to kill a single head of either, but will be satisfied with the food that Circe has given us." And they all swore as I bade them, and when they had completed their oath, we made the ship fast in a harbor that was near a stream of fresh water, and the men went ashore and cooked their suppers. As soon as they had had enough to eat and drink, they began talking about their poor comrades, whom Scylla had snatched up and eaten. This sent them weeping, and they went on crying till they fell off into a sound sleep. In the third watch of the night, when the stars had shifted their places, Zeus raised a great gale of wind that flew a hurricane, so that land and sea were covered with thick clouds, and night sprang forth out of the heavens. When the child of morning, rosy-fingered dawn, appeared, we brought the ship to land and drew her into a cave, wherein the sea nymphs hold their courts and dances, and I called my men together in council. "My friends," said I, "we have meat and drink in the ship. Let us mind, therefore, and not touch the cattle, or we shall suffer for it. For these cattle and sheep belong to the mighty sun, who sees and gives ear to everything." And again, they promised that they would obey. For a whole month, the wind blew steadily from the south, and there was no other wind, but only south and east. As long as corn and wine held out, the men did not touch the cattle when they were hungry. When, however, they had eaten all there was in the ship, they were forced to go further afield, with hook and line, catching birds and taking whatever they could lay their hands on, for they were starving. One day, therefore, I went up inland, that I might pray heaven to show me some means of getting away. When I had gone far enough to be clear of all my men, and had found a place that was well sheltered from the wind, I washed my hands and prayed to all the gods in Olympus, till by and by they sent me off into a sweet sleep. Meanwhile, Eurylochus had been giving evil counsel to the men. "Listen to me," said he, "my poor comrades. All deaths are bad enough, but there is none so bad as famine. Why should not we drive in the best of these cows, and offer them in sacrifice to the immortal gods? If we ever get back to Ithaca, we can build a fine temple to the sun god, and enrich it with every kind of ornament. If, however, he is determined to sink our ship out of revenge for these horned cattle, and the other gods are of the same mind, why, for one, would rather drink salt water once for all and have done with it, than be starved to death by inches in such a desert island as this. Thus spoke Eurylochus, and the men approved his words. Now, the cattle, so fair and goodly, were feeding not far from the ship. The men therefore drove in the best of them, and they all stood round them, saying their prayers, and using young oak shoots instead of barley meal, for there was no barley left. When they had done praying, they killed the cows, and dressed their carcasses. They cut out the thigh bones, wrapped them round in 2 layers of fat, and set some pieces of raw meat on top of them. They had no wine with which to make drink offerings over the sacrifice while it was cooking, so they kept pouring on a little water from time to time while the inward meats were being grilled. Then, when the thigh bones were burned and they had tasted the inward meats, they cut the rest up small and put the pieces upon the spits. By this time, my deep sleep had left me, and I turned back to the ship and to the seashore. As I drew near, I began to smell hot roast meat, so I groaned out a prayer to the immortal gods. "Father Zeus," I exclaimed, "and all you other gods who live in everlasting bliss, you have done me a cruel mischief by the sleep into which you have sent me. See what fine work these men of mine have been making in my absence." Okay, I need to double check a pronunciation of this one guy's name. Lampety? Lampedi?
Lampetia.
Okay, but that's spelled with an A on the end, and this is an IE on the end. Lampeti. You're heading to bed, Buddha. Thanks for hanging out. Have a good sleep. Hi, Emhorn. Hi, Muse. Oh my god, Artax, I misread that. I thought you were like, I've given my kids so much meth at this point. Like, whoa. Surely sugar's enough. Okay. Alright. Man, what a pickle. Meanwhile, Lampeti went straight off to the sun and told him we had been killing his cows, whereon he flew into a great rage and said to the immortals, "Father Zeus, and all you other gods who live in everlasting bliss, I must have vengeance on the crew of Odysseus' ship. They have had the insolence to kill my cows, which were the one thing I loved to look upon, whether I was going up heaven or down again. If they do not square accounts with me about my cows, I will go down to Hades and shine there among the dead." Yeah, but to be fair, they were given very clear instructions to not eat the cows. Oh my goodness. Hold on. How? Okay. Okay, we're almost done this chapter, and then I'm gonna feed you, okay? Are you okay? What's happening here? Okay. I need to feed her very soon. Okay. "Sun," said Zeus, "go on shining upon us gods and upon mankind over the fruitful earth. I will shiver their ship into little pieces with a bolt of white lightning as soon as they get out to sea." I was told all this by Calypso, who said she had heard it from the mouth of Hermes. Who else gets the feeling that Hermes is like such a gossipy little fuck? As soon as I got down to my ship and to the seashore, I rebuked each one of the men separately. But we could see no way out of it, for the cows were dead already. And indeed, the gods began at once to show signs and wonders among us, for the hides of the cattle crawled about, and the joints upon the spits began to low like cows, and the meat, whether cooked or raw, kept on making a noise, just as cows do. Hermes was the whole ass internet back then. For 6 days, my men kept driving in the best cows and feasting upon them. But when Zeus, the son of Cronus, had added a 7th day, the fury of the gale abated. We therefore went on board, raised our masts, spread sail, and put out to sea. As soon as we were well away from the island, and could see nothing but sky and sea, the son of Cronus raised a black cloud over our ship, and the sea grew dark beneath it. We did not get on much further, for in another moment we were caught by a terrific squall from the west that snapped the forestays of the mast so that it fell aft, while all the ship's gear tumbled about at the bottom of the vessel. The mast fell upon the head of the helmsman in the ship's stern, so that the bones of his head were crushed to pieces, and he fell overboard as though he were diving, with no more life left in him. Then Zeus let fly with his thunderbolts, and the ship went round and round, and was filled with fire and brimstone as the lightning struck it. The men all fell into the sea. They were carried about in the water round the ship, looking like so many seagulls. But the god presently deprived them of all chance of getting home again. I stuck to the ship till the sea knocked her sides from her keel, which drifted about by itself, and struck the mast out of her in the direction of the keel. But there was a backstay of stout ox thong still hanging about it, and with this I lashed the mast and keel together, and getting astride of them was carried wherever the winds chose to take me. The gale from the west had now spent its force, and the wind got into the south again, which frightened me, lest I should be taken back to the terrible whirlpool of Charybdis. This indeed was what actually happened, for I was borne along by the waves all night, and by sunrise had reached the rock of Scylla and the whirlpool. She was then sucking down the salt sea water, but I was carried aloft toward the fig tree, which I caught hold of and clung on to like a bat. I could not plant my feet anywhere so as to stand securely, for the roots were a long way off, and the boughs that overshadowed the whole pool were too high, too vast, and too far apart for me to reach them. So I hung patiently on, waiting till the pool should discharge my mast and raft again. And a very long while it seemed. A juryman is not more glad to get home to supper, after having been long detained in court by troublesome cases, than I was to see my raft beginning to work its way out of the whirlpool again. What is that comparison? Like, sitting through like a tough day's work and getting home to dinner? How is that at all on the same level as like stranded with monsters on either side of you, clinging like a bat to a tree that's like on a rock, and waiting for the one monster to vomit out your little raft that came from your shipwreck when all your men perished. Like, how is that at all an apt comparison? Underselling his situation. Work sucks. This is worse than jury duty. Oh my god. Okay. Like, not even comparing himself to the convict who's, like, sitting through his trial to see if he's sentenced to death or not. No, just the juryman who's detained by some troublesome cases. Oh, Lord. At last I let go with my hands and feet and fell heavily into the sea, hard by my raft, onto which I then got and began to row with my hands. As for Scylla, the father of gods and men would not let her get further sight of me. Otherwise, I should have certainly been lost. Hence I was carried along for 9 days, till on the 10th day the gods stranded me on the Ogygian island, where dwells the great and powerful goddess, Calypso. She took me in, and was kind to me, but I need say no more about this, for I told you and your noble wife all about it yesterday, and I hate saying the same thing over and over again. Ogygian. The Ogygian island. Isn't that what I said? Is that not what I said? Well, there we go. That's the end of chapter 12. The Ogygi. He loves saying the same thing over and over. I know. What, a hard G? I don't... No, we looked it up, didn't we? Hold on.
Ogygia.
Ogygia. Ogygia. So, Ogygian. Ogygian. I'm not sure if that's the way it would have been pronounced, like, in ancient Greek. This pronunciation, this guide is from the website of Emily Wilson, who is a Greek scholar, and her translation of the Odyssey is very popular. Her note in the pronunciation is that she is going with the, like, more modern pronunciations, and it's Ogygia in Greek. Okay, so the third option, yeah. Fretzy, you made it through your shift. Yeah, you did it, you did it. Do you get to relax now? Okay. Alright, you guys. Here's the plan. Oh, and Warren, I'm so happy to hear that. That's wonderful news. That's wonderful news. You guys, I need to take a little bit of a break, like 5 to 10 minutes, which is a longer break than I usually take. However, I have a sick guinea pig, and I'm having to intermittently hand feed her, and I need to feed her. Okay? However, let me just check to see how long. That was quite a long chapter. I'd like to read another chapter, but let me just see how long it is. Do we want to read another chapter? I think we should read another chapter. Oh, Fred C., thank you for the 500 biddies. Thank you. You don't know, Fitch? You don't know? Do you guys want another chapter? I think it would be good to read another chapter, but... Yes? Thoughts? Oh yeah, pig first, either way. Okay. Alright, so... Okay. So I am going to, and unfortunately I can't even put on the guinea pig cam during the BRB screen. Because I'm going to be in there feeding her. So it's... Do you guys want chair stream, or do you want, what do you think? Do you want chair stream? Or do you want the little dragon? Either way. I need to feed pig. Feed pig. Okay. I'll be back in 5 to 10 minutes. 5 to 10 minutes. Oh my god, the camera died while I was away. Okay. Hi everyone. Turn off the music. It makes for a nice BRB screen. It could have been worse timing, I guess. We don't need to add 2 years. I usually update their ages twice a year. That should say that Cloud is like around 6. And Nim is... Yeah, no, I'm about a year off. Nim is like 3. Yes, Cloud ate some dinner.
Cloud ate some dinner. Yep, yep, yep.
Yep, yep, yep. Did I miss anything? Anything I need to catch up on? Okay. I am also gonna eat some dinner. Oh, I don't want to eat the whole ass thing. Okay. I only want to eat a little bit of the ass thing. Alright. Shall we read another chapter? Shall we do that? Okay. Go fast, eat ass. That's kind of inspiring. Yeah. Okay. Alright. Are we rejuvenated? Rejuvenated. So, we're about to start book 13. We do read here, Sean, it's true. And a reminder to anyone who's over on Twitch that if you're able to... Manon? Go slow, eat ho. I like that too. Manon. How the heck are ya? Oh my god. Oh my god. The Mod Podge is coming together. Oh my goodness. And Jane's here. And Fidge, I think, is here but just stepped away temporarily. Oh my god. It is so good to see you, Manon. I hope you're doing well. You're alive, you're crying out. Oh my goodness. I want to like give a big hug to my Mod Podge. So lovely to see you. Yes. I'm not getting distracted by my emotions. I'm staying on track. I'm getting all squishy. Squishy feels. Okay, if any of you are able to also watch from YouTube, that really helps with the watch hours and such. Stubage. Am I saying that right? Thank you for the follow. The first one of those links at Faolkor is where we are currently live reading. But it would be awesome if you haven't subbed to those channels, if you could, that would be amazing. That would be amazing. And yeah, helping us work on our watch hours so that I can unlock the YouTube partner program would be so amazing. Yep, so just a little reminder. Yeah, and also a reminder that if you're wanting to read along, the book is pinned in all 3 chats, and we're about to start book 13. Book 13, Odysseus leaves Scheria and returns to Ithaca. Oh shit. Oh shit. Is it happening? You guys, is it happening? Alright. You had to leave for a bit. Oh, welcome back. Welcome back, Shader Boy. Okay, well this seems like big news here. Okay. So he's finally finished telling his stories to his hosts. And then they're gonna try to get him home to Ithaca. Hopefully we will also hear news of Telemachus. But I also want to know, okay, they were stranded on that island for weeks, it sounds like? For a while, right? Why were none of the gods that were like championing Odysseus before, like, they couldn't leave because of the wind? Where was Athena to give them a nice little blow? Were there no other... multiple sea gods have been named so far that can control the wind. Multiple gods can control the wind. Were there none that they could, I don't know, call upon? Nimbus? Can you keep your ass under control, please? You knew dogs with all these names. Wait, that's so cute. Even the gods get lazy and take time off? I guess so. The gods just watch him like he's the Real Housewives. Oh, I don't know, maybe this is a good sign that Nim's getting a little rumblier, because I feel like she could sense that Cloud's been sick, and she's been like giving it a rest and leaving Cloud alone. I don't know, maybe it's a good sign? And Cloud is also being really like rumble strutty. I feel like she's like, no, you don't get to be head honcho pig. I'm still here. So yeah, maybe it's a good sign. Okay. Let's dive in. Let's dive in, bookworms. Yeah, she's still here. I was gonna say still here, still queer, but, you know, I don't feel like I can speak for her in that way. Okay. Thus did he speak, and they all held their peace throughout the covered cloister, enthralled by the charm of his story, till presently Alcinous began to speak. Alcinous is the king of where they're at right now. Odysseus, said he, now that you have reached my house, I doubt not you will get home without further misadventure, no matter how much you have suffered in the past. To you others, however, who come here night after night to drink my choicest wine and listen to my bard, I would insist as follows. Our guest has already packed up the clothes, wrought gold, and other valuables which you have brought for his acceptance. Let us now, therefore, present him further, each one of us, with a large tripod and a cauldron. We will recoup ourselves by the levy of a general rate, for private individuals cannot be expected to bear the burden of such a handsome present. Everyone approved of this, and then they went home to bed, each in his own abode. When the child of morning, rosy-fingered dawn, appeared, they hurried down to the ship and brought their cauldrons with them. Alcinous went on board and saw everything so securely stowed under the ship's benches that nothing could break adrift and injure the rowers. Really? Is that better? Is that better? There it goes. Good. Sorry. It must have been when the camera shorted out. Are we focused now? Are we? Yeah, it was just the dreamland of storytime. Okay. Tripod would be to set the cauldron over a live fire. Yeah. La-di-da-di-da. Alcinous went on board and saw everything so securely stowed under the ship's benches that nothing could break adrift and injure the rowers. Then they went to the house of Alcinous to get dinner, and he sacrificed a bull for them in honor of Zeus, who is the lord of all. They set the steaks to grill and made an excellent dinner, after which the inspired bard, Demodocus, who was a favorite with everyone, sang to them. But Odysseus kept on turning his eyes towards the sun, as though to hasten his setting, for he was longing to be on his way. As one who has been all day plowing a fallow field with a couple of oxen keeps thinking about his supper and is glad when night comes that he may go and get it. For it is all his legs can do to carry him. Even so did Odysseus rejoice when the sun went down, and he at once said to the Phaeacians, addressing himself more particularly to King Alcinous, "Sir, and all of you, farewell. Make your drink offerings and send me on my way rejoicing, for you have fulfilled my heart's desire by giving me an escort, and making me presents which heaven grant that I may turn to good account. May I find my admirable wife living in peace among friends, and may you, whom I leave behind me, give satisfaction to your wives. Give satisfaction to your wives and children. May heaven vouchsafe you every good grace, and may no evil thing come among your people. And may no evil thing come among your people." The fact that it said wives and children, I'm guessing it just means, like, just that you're an adequate husband, not give satisfaction. I hope. Thus did he speak. His hearers, all of them, approved his saying, and agreed that he should have his escort, inasmuch as he had spoken reasonably. Alcinous therefore said to his servant, "Pontonous, mix some wine and hand it round to everybody, that we may offer a prayer to Father Zeus and speed our guest upon his way." This dude cannot let the party end. Your guest wants to leave, man. You're overdoing it. Let him go. Jesus. I thought they were leaving in the morning. No, they needed a whole extra day of slaughtering and praying and feasting. Hi, Nick. He does want him to marry. Yeah, but I think it's pretty clear that he's not going to marry. Nausicaa. Pontanus mixed the wine and handed it to every one in turn. The others, each from his own seat, made a drink offering to the blessed gods that live in heaven. But Odysseus rose and placed the double cup in the hands of Queen Arete. "Farewell, Queen," said he. "Henceforward and forever, till age and death, the common lot of mankind, lay their hands upon you." That's a bleak farewell. "I now take my leave. Be happy in this house with your children, your people, and with King Alcinous." He's like, goodbye forever until you get old and death gets his hands on you. Like, that is such a hard-edged goodbye. I don't think it's meant to be. I think but he's Cinnabon? Does Cinnabon say that shit? As he spoke, he crossed the threshold, and Alcinous sent a man to conduct him to his ship and to the seashore. Arete also sent some maidservants with him, one with a clean shirt and cloak, another to carry his strong box, and a third with corn and wine. When they got to the waterside, the crew took these things and put them on board with all the meat and drink. But for Odysseus, they spread a rug and a linen sheet on deck that he might sleep soundly in the stern of the ship. Then he too went on board and lay down without a word. But the crew took every man his place and loosed the hawser from the pierced stone to which it had been bound. Thereon, when they began rowing out to sea, Odysseus fell into a deep, sweet, and almost death-like slumber. Hi, Brian. Welcome in. Well, I am glad that you found us as well. How are you doing? Thank you for the follow. Cinnabon says goodbye forever. Okay, but not goodbye forever until you age and death gets his hands on you. So, the ship bounded forward on her way as a four-in-hand chariot flies over the course when the horses feel the whip. Her prow curvetted as it were the neck of a stallion, and a great wave of dark blue water seethed in her wake. She held steadily on her course, and even a falcon, swiftest of all birds, could not have kept pace with her. Thus, then, she cut her way through the water, carrying one who was as cunning as the gods, but who was now sleeping peacefully, forgetful of all that he had suffered, both on the field of battle and by the waves of the weary sea. Hi, Casey King. When the bright star that heralds the approach of dawn began to show, the ship drew near to land. Now, there is in Ithaca a haven of the old merman, Phorcys. Okay, we're gonna double check the pronunciation there. Thank you, Shauna Pidge. Thank you. Phorcys? Oh, I don't even see it in this list. All right. Okay. Merman, Dad. Sean said pecan. I agree with Sean. I agree with Sean. All right. Yeah, I'm guessing Phorcys. Forces? Okay. Now, there is in Ithaca a haven of the old merman, Phorcys, which lies between 2 points that break the line of the sea and shut the harbor in. These shelter it from the storms of wind and sea that rage outside, so that, when once within it, a ship may lie without being even moored. At the head of this harbor, there is a large olive tree, and at no great distance a fine, overarching cavern, sacred to the nymphs who are called naiads. There are mixing bowls within it and wine jars of stone, and the bees hive there. You've seen it spelled Faolkor? Oh, you think it's a hard C? The old merman forceps. You think it's Faolkor? Faolkor. That's not better. That's not better. Okay. I just want to marry all you beautiful spoons. Hi, Banana. On YouTube. You're at a pub? Heck yeah. I hope you have a good time, Banana, if you can hear me whilst at the pub. Faolkor the mermaid. Faolkor and Spoonus. Oh my goodness. Okay. Moreover, there are great looms of stone on which the nymphs weave their robes of sea purple. Very curious to see, and at all times there is water within it. It has 2 entrances, one facing north, by which mortals can go down into the cave, while the other comes from the south and is more mysterious. Not the mysterious South Cave. Oh dear. Mortals cannot possibly get in by it. It is the way taken by the gods. I'm sorry. I'm an adult. I'm an adult. And that's how I know about the mysterious South Cave. Okay. Into this harbor, then, they took their ship, for they knew the place. She had so much way upon her that she ran half her own length onto the shore. When, however, they had landed, the first thing they did was to lift Odysseus with his rug and linen sheet out of the ship and lay him down upon the sand, still fast asleep. It's a tight cave, but with determination you can enjoy yourself within. The gods take the South Cave, yeah. Where we celebrate our big girl monthlies. They didn't throw him in the water, they put him on the sand. Okay. Not the big girl monoliths. You guys, sorry. One of my back is cramping. I have to just temporarily step off camera and remove my bindings so that I can stretch, okay? Hold on. You can film an on-in about the big girl monthlies. Yes, okay, so for anyone who is not in the loop about my messed up back, my back is messed up. That's the TLDR. I wear a corset to help me sit up for longer. And it basically helps my posture, and it also helps fend off greater pain. But if my muscles start cramping up, then I have to take it off. So I've taken it off, but if we're going to be streaming for longer, I'll have to put it back on in a little bit. But while my muscles are trying to seize up, I can't properly stretch with it on. So, Stiff Socks, welcome in. Thank you for the follow. I think we've got some like new people in here right now, so I just wanted to explain that. Hi, Stiff Socks. Welcome. Okay, am I okay? I've got a very crooked spine and basically have chronic back pain. And when it's very bad, I am unable to sit up. So usually when I'm streaming, I am wearing a corset. People are welcome to ask questions about it. For me, it's not like a sexy undergarment thing. It's more like a orthopedic support kind of thing. So I took it off because my back muscles are seizing up and cramping, and once that starts happening, I'm unable to properly stretch. But with it off, I won't be able to sit very long before getting like just more general pain. So I'll have to put it back on in a little bit. Can't orthopedic supports be sexy? They can be. Yes, I just like to be clear about, like, yeah, that isn't me, like, just, I don't think of them as, like, lingerie, basically. Yeah. It's like a back brace, more. Okay, let's dive back into it. Okay. Nice scaffolding is great, yes. My scaffolding. Okay. Okay, so they've gone into a harbor. Odysseus is just out. The man has been wanting to sleep for ages. He hasn't had a good night's rest in days. So they just lift him out on his blanket and he doesn't even wake up, and they put him on the sand. Okay. Then they took out the presents which Athena had persuaded the Phaeacians to give him when he was setting out on his voyage homewards. They put these all together by the root of the olive tree, away from the road, for fear some passer-by might come and steal them before Odysseus awoke. And then they made the best of their way home again. Wait, did they not? Did they take him all the way home? What? What, they just brought him into the merman cave and then just left him? Wait. Is there a way you can see a doctor about fixing it? No, it's, like, baby, I was born this way. There's scoliosis and kyphosis and lordosis. What? Weren't they supposed to take him all the way to Ithaca? Good night, Indie J. Good night, good night. Thanks for hanging out. But Poseidon did not forget the threats with which he had already threatened Odysseus, for he took counsel with Zeus. "Father Zeus," said he, "I shall no longer be held in any sort of respect among you gods. If mortals, like the Phaeacians, who are my own flesh and blood, show such small regard for me..." Oh shit, I was like, isn't this gonna cause some issues? that they're like the people of Poseidon, and Poseidon hates Odysseus? Okay. I said I would let Odysseus get home when he had suffered sufficiently. I did not say that he should never get home at all, for I knew you had already nodded your head about it and promised that he should do so. But now they have brought him in a ship fast asleep and have landed him in Ithaca, while loading him with more magnificent presents of bronze, gold, and raiment than he would ever have brought back from Troy, if he had had his share of the spoil and got home without misadventure. And Zeus answered, What, O Lord of the Earthquake, are you talking about? The gods are by no means wanting in respect for you. It would be monstrous if they were to insult one so old and honored as you are. As regards mortals, however, if any of them is indulging in insolence and treating you disrespectfully, it will always rest with yourself to deal with him as you may think proper. So, do just as you please. I should have done so at once, replied Poseidon, if I were not anxious to avoid anything that might displease you. Now, therefore, I should like to wreck the Phaeacian ship, as it is returning from its escort. This will stop them from escorting people in future, and I should also like to bury their city under a huge mountain. What the fuck? Oh, Poseidon, you need to chill. He's the word, like, yeah, I get that Odysseus gouged out the eye of his son, but his son ate several of Odysseus's men. Like, I feel like that's already square. Do you know what I mean? And the Cyclops ate the men before Odysseus gouged out the eye. You know? You can't just eat a bunch of men and not expect them to try to gouge your eye out. And like Poseidon's already like tormented him for ages. And instead of like these people otherwise, yeah, they helped Odysseus, but they worship Poseidon. You really want to lose that, Poseidon? You're gonna be pretty unpopular. I don't know. Wait, is City Chengaing? Okay. Sorry. Try to yell less at the characters. My good friend, answered Zeus, well, I should recommend you at the very moment when the people from the city are watching the ship on her way to turn it into a rock near the land and looking like a ship. This will astonish everybody, and then you can bury their city under the mountain. When Earth encircling Poseidon heard this, he went to Scheria, where the Phaeacians live, and stayed there till the ship, which was making rapid way, had got close in. Then he went up to it, turned it into stone, and drove it down with the flat of his hand, so as to root it in the ground. After this, he went away. The Phaeacians then began talking among themselves, and one would turn towards his neighbor, saying, "Oh, bless my heart, who is it that can have rooted the ship in the sea just as she was getting into port? We could see the whole of her only a moment ago." Liam, welcome in. Thank you for the follow. Hello. This was how they talked, but they knew nothing about it. And Alcinous said, "I remember now the old prophecy of my father. He said that Poseidon would be angry with us for taking everyone so safely over the sea, and would one day wreck a Phaeacian ship as it was returning from an escort, and bury our city under a high mountain. Well, this was what my old father used to say. Well, now it is all coming true. Now, therefore, let us all do as I say. In the first place, we must leave off giving people escorts when they come here. And in the next, let us sacrifice 12 picked bulls to Poseidon, that he may have mercy upon us, and not bury our city under the high mountain. When the people heard this, they were afraid, and got ready the bulls. Thus did the chiefs and rulers of the Phaeacians pray to King Poseidon, standing round his altar. And at the same time, Odysseus woke up once more upon his own soil. Oh, he had been so long away that he did not know it again. Moreover, Zeus's daughter Athena had made it a foggy day, so that people might not know of his having come, and that she might tell him everything without either his wife or his fellow citizens and friends recognizing him, until he had taken his revenge upon the wicked suitors. Everything, therefore, seemed quite different to him. The long, straight roads, the long, straight tracks, the harbors, the precipices, and the goodly trees appeared all changed as he started up and looked upon his native land. So he smote his thighs with the flat of his hands and cried aloud despairingly. "Alas," he exclaimed, "among what manner of people am I fallen? Are they savage and uncivilized, or hospitable and humane? Where should I put all this treasure? Which way shall I go? I wish I had stayed over there with the Phaeacians, or I could have gone to some other great chief who would have been good to me and given me an escort. As it is, I do not know where to put my treasure, and I cannot leave it here for fear somebody else should get hold of it." In good truth, the chiefs and rulers of the Phaeacians have not been dealing fairly by me, and have left me in the wrong country. They said they would take me back to Ithaca, and they have not done so. May Zeus, the protector of suppliants, chastise them, for he watches over everybody and punishes those who do wrong. Still, I suppose I must count my goods and see if the crew have gone off with any of them. He counted his goodly coppers and cauldrons, his gold and all his clothes, but there was nothing missing. Still, he kept grieving about not being in his own country, and wandered up and down by the shore of the sounding sea, bewailing his hard fate. Then Athena came up to him, disguised as a young shepherd of delicate and princely mien. Why is she always making herself a dude? "Hi, King Jade." No, I'm reading the Odyssey right now. I've just got it open on an e-reader on my screen. Yeah. Sometimes I also make up stories, but yeah, just reading right now. Then Athena came up to him, disguised as a young shepherd of delicate and princely mien, with a good cloak folded double about her shoulders. She had sandals on her comely feet, and held a javelin in her hand. Odysseus was glad when he saw her, and went straight up to her. "Georgie, oh my god, Raiders, hi." Is this the Bible? No, this is the Odyssey. We're reading the Odyssey. Georgie Wen, oh my goodness. Thank you so much for the raid. Welcome in, Raiders. Hello, hello, hello. Cullyberry, welcome. Aklov, hello, hello. Oh my goodness, Georgie. Thank you so much for the raid. What the heck? It is so good to see you, to have you all join us. You guys, make sure you are following Georgie Wen. Georgie is such a talented ASMR artist. Oh my goodness. So freaking cozy over there. Wonderful tingles, just so relaxing. Oh my god. Like, you'll just like melt and slip into a wonderful sleep. Lots of love for the pigs. Thank you, Georgie. Yeah, Cloud is sick right now. So, Georgie is just freaking awesome. Georgie's also a writer and has a book out, which is so exciting. Oh my god. Hi, Jonathan. If any of you are new here, I'm Faolkor, and we do a mixture of traditional ASMR, often a little bit chattier, often soft-spoken stuff, and we spend part of our stream reading, which is what you've come on into right now. We are currently reading the Odyssey, and Odysseus has finally made it back to Ithaca, but he doesn't realize it's Ithaca yet. He doesn't recognize it, so he's going through some tormenting feelings at the moment. Oh my god, thank you for the follow, Magic School Bus Dropout. That's hilarious. Yeah, hello. We are going to be finishing this chapter, and then we are going to be opening up ASMR triggers after that. So, yeah, but it is so lovely to have you guys join us. Georgie, thank you so much. How are you doing? How was your stream? Wonderful timing. Yeah. Did you have a good stream today? Oh my god, Georgie, I'm making some progress on my own manuscript. Making some progress on my manuscript. Very exciting. Yeah. But of course, Georgie, please feel free to head out whenever you need to. Make sure you're taking care of yourself and resting after your stream. Really appreciate the raid. That's awesome to have you join us. You're watching wholesome videos? Nice. What percent? I don't totally know, because I'm not writing it in order, but I'm guessing I'm around 70% done the first draft. But I don't know. I need to print it all out and then do some shuffling and identify the gaps and everything. Yeah. But it's coming along. It's coming along. Heck yeah. Alright, let's jump back into the story. Athena has once again disguised herself as a man and is going to talk to Odysseus. I'm really confused about, like, they dropped him off in this cave of that old merman, which I didn't realize was on Ithaca. Did you say you're working on a book? Yep. Yes. And I set a goal. I set a goal to be finished the first draft by my birthday, which is in the summer. It's the end of June. And then maybe like finished by the end of the year. I really struggle with prioritizing my own writing time. So, but my best friend's also working on a book, and we're meeting up once a week and doing like a writing group and everything. So that's really helping. Thank you for that shout out for Lav as well. Yeah, Lav is another amazing ASMR content creator. Also an amazing musician and just hilarious, and it's a wonderful time over there. So creative and fun. The toughest part about writing a book is writing a book. Yeah, I struggle when I have like so many things on my to-do list, and the other things are things that other people are wanting or expecting or caring about, and the book is like, that's just for me, you know? So it's harder to prioritize it. Anyway, okay, let's jump back in and see what happens to Odysseus, and hopefully we'll have news of Telemachus. Okay. Odysseus was glad when he saw her and went straight up to her. "My friend," said he, "you are the first person whom I have met with in this country. I salute you, therefore, and beg you to be well disposed towards me. Protect these my goods, and myself too, for I embrace your knees and pray to you as though you were a god. Tell me then, and tell me truly, what land and country is this? Who are its inhabitants? Am I on an island, or is this the seaboard of some continent?" Athena answered, "Stranger, you must be very simple, or must have come from somewhere a long way off, not to know what country this is. It is a very celebrated place, and everybody knows it, east and west. It is a rugged and not a good driving country, but it is by no means a bad island for what there is of it. It grows any quantity of corn and also wine, for it is watered both by rain and dew. It breeds cattle also, and goats. All kinds of timber grow here, and there are watering places where the water never runs dry. So, sir, the name of Ithaca is known even as far as Troy, which I understand to be a long way off from this Achaean country." Odysseus was glad at finding himself, as Athena told him, in his own country, and he began to answer. But he did not speak the truth, and made up a lying story in the instinctive wiliness of his heart. "Oh, I heard of Ithaca," said he, "when I was in Crete, beyond the seas, and now it seems I have reached it with all these treasures. I have left as much more behind me for my children, but am flying because I killed Orsilochus, son of Idomeneus, the fleetest runner in Crete. I killed him because he wanted to rob me of the spoils I had got from Troy with so much trouble and danger both on the field of battle and by the waves of the weary sea. But he said I had not served his father loyally at Troy as vassal, but had set myself up as an independent ruler. So I lay in wait for him with one of my followers by the road." This is such an unnecessary depth of a lie. Bro, you don't have to make up this whole story. Yeah, he could just be like, "Oh, I've heard of Ithaca. Can you take me to who rules here?" This is such an extensive lie. So I lay in wait for him with one of my followers by the roadside and speared him as he was coming into town from the country. It was a very dark night and nobody saw us. It was not known, therefore, that I had killed him. But as soon as I had done so, I went to a ship and besought the owners, who were Phoenicians, to take me on board and set me in Pylos or in Elis, where the Epeans rule, giving them as much spoil as satisfied them. Well, they meant no guile, but the wind drove them off their course, and we sailed on till we came hither by night. It was all we could do to get inside the harbor, and none of us said a word about supper, though we wanted it badly. But we all went on shore and lay down just as we were. Well, I was very tired and fell asleep directly, so they took my goods out of the ship and placed them beside me where I was lying upon the sand. But then they sailed away to Sidonia, and I was left here in great distress of mind. Yeah, but he could have kept his identity hidden without telling such an elaborate lie. Hi, Leo, we're reading the Odyssey. Such was his story. But Athena smiled and caressed him with her hand. Then she took the form of a woman, fair, stately, and wise. He must be indeed a shifty, lying fellow, said she, who could surpass you in all manner of craft, even though you had a god for your antagonist. Daredevil that you are, full of guile, unwearying in deceit, can you not drop your tricks and your instinctive falsehood, even now that you are in your own country again? We will say no more, however, about this, for we can both of us deceive upon occasion. You are the most accomplished counselor and orator among all mankind, while I, for diplomacy and subtlety, have no equal among the gods. Did you not know Zeus's daughter, Athena? Me, who have ever been with you, who kept watch over you in all your troubles, and who made the Phaeacians take so great a liking to you. And now again I am come here to talk things over with you, and help you hide the treasure I made the Phaeacians give you. I want to tell you about the troubles that await you in your own house. You have got to face them. But tell no one, neither man nor woman, that you have come home again. Bear everything, and put up with every man's insolence, without a word. And Odysseus answered, A man, goddess, may know a great deal, but you are so constantly changing your appearance that when he meets you it is a hard matter for him to know whether it is you or not. This much, however, I know exceedingly well. You were very kind to me, as long as we Achaeans were fighting before Troy. But from the day on which we went on board ship, after having sacked the city of Priam, and heaven dispersed us, from that day, Athena, I saw no more of you, and cannot ever remember your coming to my ship to help me in a difficulty. I had to wander on, sick and sorry, till the gods delivered me from evil, and I reached the city of the Phaeacians, where you encouraged me and took me into the town. And now, I beseech you, in your father's name, tell me the truth, for I do not believe I am really back in Ithaca. I am in some other country, and you are mocking me and deceiving me in all that you have been saying. Tell me then, truly, have I really got back to my own country? You are always taking something of that sort in your head, replied Athena, and that is why I cannot desert you in your afflictions. You are so plausible, shrewd, and shifty. Anyone but yourself, on returning from so long a voyage, would at once have gone home to see his wife and children. But you do not seem to care about asking after them, or hearing any news about them, till you have exploited your wife, who remains at home vainly grieving for you, and having no peace night or day for the tears she sheds on your behalf. As for my not coming near you, I was never uneasy about you, for I was certain you would get back safely, though you would lose all your men, and I did not wish to quarrel with my uncle Poseidon, who never forgave you for having blinded his son. I will now, however, point out to you the lie of the land, and you will then, perhaps, believe me. This is the haven of that old merman, Faolkor, and here is the olive tree that grows at the head of it. Near it is the cave sacred to the Naiads. Here, too, is the overarching cavern in which you have offered many an acceptable hecatomb to the nymphs. And this is the wooded mountain Naratum. As she spoke, the goddess dispersed the mist, and the land appeared. Then Odysseus rejoiced at finding himself again in his own land, and kissed the bounteous soil. He lifted up his hands and prayed to the nymphs, saying, Naiad nymphs, daughters of Zeus, I made sure that I was never again to see you. Now, therefore, I greet you with all loving salutations. and I will bring you offerings as in the old days, if Zeus's redoubtable daughter will grant me life and bring my son to manhood. Take heart, and do not trouble yourself about that, rejoined Athena. Let us rather set about stowing your things at once in the cave, where they will be quite safe. Let us see how we can best manage it all. Therewith she went down into the cave to look for the safest hiding places, while Odysseus brought up all the treasures of gold, bronze, and good clothing which the Phaeacians had given him. They stowed everything carefully away, and Athena set a stone against the door of the cave. Then the two sat down by the root of the great olive, and consulted how to compass the destruction of the wicked suitors. Oh man, she called him out, hey? She's like, wow, you haven't asked after your wife at all. Vegetarian steak? What? Really? Really? Oh, don't get me wrong. I've had vegetarian ground beef and it was delicious. But like, how could you capture, and like vegetarian burgers and things, but like, how can you capture the texture of a steak? Oh yeah, no. Portobello mushroom, but like, does it, like they make it into, does it seem like a steak? I don't know. They eat grass type Pokemon. Hi Ozzy. Huh. I'm all here for veggie food. As much as I enjoy meat, I love vegetarian food as well, except for I can't have soy, so that cuts out a big portion of it. You posted it on the Discord? What, in the food channel? I'm so curious. Sorry, I will return to the reading in just a second. I have to see what this vegetarian steak is like. What? Okay. Wait. Where on the Discord? It's not in the food channel. What channel is it in? Miscellaneous? No? Oh my god. Teasing us. What channel is it in, Jane? Okay. Okay. So they're like, I guess she wants him to make an entrance and kick a lot of suitor ass. Oh, it was a while back. Oh, okay. Never mind. Alright. Odysseus, said Athena, noble son of Laertes, think how you can lay hands on these disreputable people who have been lording it in your house these 3 years, courting your wife and making wedding presents to her, while she does nothing but lament your absence, giving hope and sending encouraging messages to every one of them, but meaning the very opposite of all she says. And Odysseus answered, in good truth, goddess, it seems I should have come to much the same bad end in my own house as Agamemnon did, if you had not given me such timely information. Advise me how I shall best avenge myself. Stand by my side and put your courage into my heart, as on the day when we loosed Troy's fair diadem from her brow. Help me now as you did then, and I will fight 300 men, if you, goddess, will be with me. Oh my god, Slipknot, man! What the heck? Thank you for the resub. Thank you. 7 months now. Slipknot, man, thank you so much. There is a lot of pseuderastic kick, it's true. "Trust me for that," said she. "I will not lose sight of you when once we set about it. And I imagine that some of those who are devouring your substance will then bespatter the pavement with their blood and brains. I will begin by disguising you, so that no human being shall know you. I will cover your body with wrinkles. You shall lose all your yellow hair. I will clothe you in a garment that shall fill all who see it with loathing. I will blear your fine eyes for you and make you an unseemly object in the sight of the suitors, of your wife, and of the son whom you left behind you. Then go at once to the swineherd who is in charge of your pigs. He has always been well affected towards you, and is devoted to Penelope and your son. You will find him feeding his pigs near the rock that is called Raven, by the fountain Arethusa, where they are fattening on beech mast and spring water after their manners. Stay with him and find out how things are going, while I proceed to Sparta and see your son, who is with Menelaus at Lacedaemon, where he has gone to try and find out whether you are still alive." "But why," said Odysseus, "did you not tell him? For you knew all about it. What, did you want him to go sailing about amid all kinds of hardship, while others are eating up his estate?" Good question. Athena answered, "Never mind about him. I sent him that he might be well spoken of for having gone. He is in no sort of difficulty, but is staying quite comfortably with Menelaus, and is surrounded with abundance of every kind. The suitors have put out to sea and are lying in wait for him, but they mean to kill him before he can get home. I do not much think they will succeed, but rather that some of those who are now eating up your estate will first find a grave themselves." "They probably won't succeed in killing him. It's fine." As she spoke, Athena touched him with her wand. She has a wand? This is, I feel, the first we've heard of her wand, isn't it? Or, okay. As she spoke, Athena touched him with her wand and covered him with wrinkles, took away all his yellow hair, and withered the flesh over his whole body. She bleared his eyes, which were naturally very fine ones. She changed his clothes and threw an old rag of a wrap about him, and a tunic, tattered, filthy, and begrimed with smoke. She also gave him an undressed deerskin as an outer garment, and furnished him with a staff and a wallet all in holes, with a twisted thong for him to sling it over his shoulder. When the pair had thus laid their plans, they parted, and the goddess went straight to Lacedaemon to fetch Telemachus. End of chapter. What are we thinking? What are we thinking? Oh my goodness. Okay, so we have read 13 chapters so far. Out of 24. Alright. We're over halfway through. Goddess of cosplayers. I mean, honestly, if you can, why not? Or you can just change how you look whenever you want. Can you do a voice warm-up? I mean, I've just been reading for a few hours, so I don't feel like I need to do a voice warm-up. If anything, I need to do a voice cooldown. Alright. Well, this, I am very curious to see what will happen next, and part of me wants to, like, continue on, but those were kind of long chapters. We have been, Yeah, we've been reading for almost 3 hours. And we've been live overall for an hour before that. So your voice sounds bad. Could you warm it up, please? I'm so glad you guys can just be honest with me. So kind. Alright. Well, here is the plan. Here's the plan. We're going to wrap up the YouTube part of the stream. We are going to take like a 5-minute break so I can stretch, etc. And then we'll do a bit of ASMR, if that sounds good to you all. A few reminders before we do that. So yes, we have been live on the YouTube channel, the first of those links. Please, if you have not and you're up for it, if anyone wants to drop a subscribe over on either or ideally both of those YouTube channels, that's the free option on YouTube. That would be so heckin' awesome. The 2 goals that we need to hit in order to unlock the YouTube Partner Program are subscribers, which again, on YouTube, that's the free option, and watch hours. And so watching the live streams over on YouTube is really helpful, but also, you know, watching any of the videos is so helpful, you guys. I have just the other day put these live streams of the Odyssey into a playlist with chapter markers. Hopefully later tonight or at least tomorrow I will put chapter markers in this stream as well, so it makes it easier to navigate if you're trying to catch up on the story if you miss any parts of it. Yeah, so that's that. I think we're going to continue on the Twitch stream for a bit longer, so let me just pop the that link in the YouTube chat if you want to come and join us on Twitch for the last bit. We will be doing ASMR triggers. So yeah, otherwise I will be back on, oh yes, right, thank you, Jane. Also drop a like. Yay. Until actually after the stream ends you can drop a like. That's very helpful as well. If all goes according to plan, I will be back on this YouTube channel reading more of the Odyssey on Sunday night. So I hope very much to see you guys then. Have a wonderful night. Thank you so much to everyone who's been watching on the YouTube.